Happy Sunday, you sexy bitches. Here is your Sunday nugget. I want to talk about discipline. I was walking with a friend of mine a couple of days ago and she was super stoked because she had been listening to a podcast kind of talk about discipline and gave her some really good tips on ways to continue to live healthy. And I'm not talking 100% of the time. Balance is extremely important in our life. I cannot express that enough, but as we get older, we have to really make sure that we're continuing to push ourselves out of comfort zones to be as healthy as we possibly can. And the reason that we have to be disciplined now in our 40s and 50s, some of you are in your 60s, is because we have to think about our future self. So are the decisions and what we're doing currently in our life, are they going to make us better, or are they going to make us worse in the future? We spend all this time working hard, showing up every single day to make sure that we have enough money to retire and possibly travel and do all the things. But what happens, I know my in-laws are a perfect example of this. They've got all this money, but now in their late 70s, they can't actually enjoy it because they're not well enough to even get on an airplane. They're not actually well enough to go for a walk. The thought of that is terrifying. And I know sometimes it's hard to think about the future in our 70s and 80s, but can you believe that some of us are in our 50s, some of us are in our 60s? How the hell did that happen, right? Time just keeps going faster and faster and faster. So that life is coming faster than we realize. So we have to make sure that we are making decisions now to make sure that our life in the future is the most vital life that we possibly can. And I already knew this because in my early 30s I trained the elderly, and the difference between the people who were enjoying their life in their 70s and 80s and the ones that weren't prioritized their health and wellness. They did spend time in the gym, they did eat well, they did focus on balance and not just focus on making money and being there for the children. They made sure that their wellness was a priority at that age, and now they're thriving at this age. And alternatively, I saw the opposite of people bedridden because they had just focused on work and nothing else. And it doesn't really take a ton, right? Like, yeah, we push things as personal trainers. We want you to get your protein in. We want you to manage your sleep and your stress. We want you to move 10,000 steps a day. And we want you to get in the gym and lift 2 or 3 times a week. We do put a lot of extra pressure probably on your day-to-day. But that's our job. And I think more importantly, our job is to remember and remind you the importance of why we're doing this. I don't really think at this point where you should be too worried about a six-pack and a peachy bum. But of course, we're always going to worry about that because we're women, right? We're always, I hope, going to have some type of vanity in us that's always going to want to push the envelope and see how healthy and glowy and beautiful we still can be as we age. I think that's great, but we also have to really prioritize how we're going to be able to move and enjoy our life in the future. It's extremely important. So, yesterday I had a client post something and share it with me on her story. She was gonna have that glass of wine and she was just gonna skip the workout, but instead she thought, no, I'm gonna finish that 3rd strength workout. And like the sense of pride that comes along with finishing those things is also super beneficial, right? But we have to really start thinking about what our life is going to be like in the future, and what our decisions are, what we do now is going to really determine how that is going to look for us. I don't want to look back and wonder if my decisions, if I had made better decisions in my 40s and 50s, could have improved my life in my 70s and 80s. I don't want to live with that regret. Is my life going to be guaranteed perfect in my 80s? Could I maybe get an illness? Or yes, I could, but I don't want to ever wonder if I could have done better. I want to know for sure that I did everything I possibly could to make sure that my life is as vital and as full of life as I possibly can in the future. So think about that. Like I said, we're not looking for 100% consistency. I'd like to see more than 50%. If you're getting 4,000 steps in, that's your first focus, right? Consistently seeing 4,000 steps, 5,000 steps. One day's a 10,000. No, like ladies, you gotta keep working towards moving more throughout the day. That is your number one priority. Think about that. Once you get that, move on to the next one. Little bits at a time, but keep pushing yourself to be as disciplined as you possibly can, because not only will your future self thank you for it, but your current self will have that sense of pride that no one can take away from you, that will give you the confidence and that feeling of being invincible, because you show yourself, have proven to yourself that you can do it.